So this is normal. She's just licking everything as well at the moment. Why have I got a bunch of lickers? So he's pulled her dog bed out already. I just put her back in. She didn't even notice. Didn't even notice. Get into your bed there. She loves this bed. And then just don't even know where to start with him really. And then Lola just goes, where's the food? Why is none of it in my gob? Isn't that right, Lola? It is. What you want? Food. You want food? So I'm here in my sewing room with Advent Day 9. So, what have we today? We have a little box. And what is this? Oh, I think it's like sellotape, is it? Oh, it's washi tape. So it is 50s Christmas washi tape. Oh, that's very cute. Oh, how sweet. So little Christmassy things all over it. Oh, that's very cute. I like that. I like the stuff that come out of the advent calendar. It's just not what I expected, but there you go. So I'm here this morning in my Tommy Hilfiger sweatshirt that I bought recently in New York. I'm not going to say that I love it. I have it on, but I don't think it's going to last. The hood, it's just, I don't think I'm made for hoods. I think my neck is too short for hoods and I've just got too much hair for hoods. So the hood is really comfortable. If I wanted to possibly go for a walk and put the hood up, it's actually really nice because I know this sounds very self-critical, but I actually have a big head. I have a large head. We are a family of large head people. So my father had a huge head, my uncle had a huge head, I have a huge head, my brother has a huge head. Yeah, so we've just got a big head. Like I could never wear a hat to a wedding. I could never get a hat to fit my head for a wedding. Now, that's a lie. I have worn hats because I've made them to fit my large head. So when I was doing my millinery classes, I used to bring my hat block that belonged to my grandmother. She's the big header. So I remember the tutor said, that hat block isn't yours, Andrea, that's far too big. That's a man's hat block. I said, no, that actually works for me. So I should have, well, see, these chats just start out of nowhere. So the hat block you measure around here basically, and I think it was 22 inches, which is actually quite big. Now, I could be wrong. People could watch this and go, there's no way you have a 22 inch head. Get a measuring tape. And this will tell us. So I do have a large head, and she was very interested to see that I did actually have the size of head of the hat block. So what's that? Oh, 23. It's getting even bigger. My goodness me. That could be all the comments from YouTube. It's making my head bigger. What am I? To put the glasses up. Kind of there, 22 and a half. Yeah, 22 and a half. So you have quite a large head for a very small person. So yeah, hoods don't really work. They don't really work. This is the first item of clothing that I've bought in a long time, and it was very strange being in a shop trying on clothes. There was no changing room, so I just put it on, you know, in the shop because and I was going to buy it in another colour as well, but I'm glad I didn't because I do like it, but it's like Lola and the cats. I'm kind of tolerating it. So I think I've got spoiled from making my own clothes. I love all the details on it, I really do. I like, it's really lovely fabric, not very stretchy, but then I think that is the way ready to wear clothes are now. Anyway, we're so spoiled with our lovely stretchy fabrics. It's got the Tommy thing there. It's got splits here that I like, and it's got, of course, the Tommy thingies there. Like, it fits really nicely. It's just that blooming hood that I don't like, so maybe the hood might come off at some stage. So I was putting this on and I was making my bed before I did my vlog, and I thought, it's so interesting how your life can change. Like, I went to New York this year. It's wonderful. The last time I'd been in New York was 2008. And it's almost like, well, it is 2 different lives. So that was, what was that? 16 years, was it? No, 14 years? 14 years, 14. I'm usually good with maths. I'm not very good with writing and words and stuff, but I'm actually pretty good at maths. So yeah, 14 years previous, and I was thinking, yeah, how things can change in 14 years. So in 2008, my dad had passed away 2 years previous. My mother had passed away 6 years before that, and I kind of felt at the time that life was starting to like shape up a little bit. And work was really good. I was working really hard. I mean, what's new? And I had a lovely interiors business at the time, which I really enjoyed. I bought my shop premises, and I just felt that I was, you know, you just sort of feel, oh, things are actually I'm starting to see, you know, things are working out. This is great. Now, my marriage wasn't amazing, but, you know, I'd held out hope that things were going to change, like you do. But yeah, work was really good. The kids were in a great place. And yeah, my interior shop, so I had a really lovely shop. I had 3, 4, going on 5 girls working for me at the time, all on part-time. I didn't have anybody full-time. No, we had, they used kind of our share. So I had 2 girls that worked in the shop itself, and they just, one of them worked 3 days, one worked 2 days, or 3 days and 3 days, and they kind of worked it out between each other what days suited, because they both had children. And that's the way I was really flexible. I mean, as long as somebody was in the shop, that was great, you know. I had one lady as well that used to sew. Well, I had 2 girls that used to sew, and again, they worked out hours that suited themselves, because they had children, and they worked out their hours according to how busy we were. So some weeks they put in a lot of hours, other weeks they put in less hours. And then I had another lady that kind of flitted in between and helped out when she was needed. She did the window displays. She was lovely. So it was a really lovely business in that people came in with their blank rooms. I mean, building was at its boom in Ireland at the time, and they came in with their amazing huge houses with like 30 windows, and we did colour schemes. I had one lady who just loved doing like colour schemes, so they came in when she was in. She worked out a whole colour scheme for their house. She was really good. She was very passionate about design and picking colours and textures and picking curtains. So they only came in for curtains. They went out with matching paint, great ideas for lighting. She was brilliant. I did a lot of that at the time. I had done an interior design course. Actually, 3 of us had the same interior design course done. I was happier in the sewing room, though, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I loved going out to people's houses and measuring windows, really loved all of that. Went out with colour cards as well, because of course it's really important to be in somebody's house to pick paint, because what looks nice in a north facing room looks completely different in a south facing and whatnot. So we did a lot of that. We brought our colour cards out as well as our sample books. It was all so interesting. I got loads of ideas from my own house, from other people's houses. It was great. But I was really much happier in the sewing room, making the Roman blinds, making the curtains. Oh, I loved that. I just didn't always want to be in the shop, so I was very lucky that I could go between, you know, the 2 different aspects, and I had the most wonderful group of ladies working for me. It was brilliant. We also did fit outs of houses and apartments for investors who had bought a house with the whole intention of renting it out. So we worked for a lot of builders as well, and they passed our details on to people who were buying houses just for rent. So we fit out like rental accommodation. We fitted out we got in the subcontractors to do the flooring. We got in all the furniture. So we had a few suppliers for furniture, all really nice furniture, not just rubbish. And we did everything down to putting knives and forks and spoons into the kitchen. So there was like sweeping brushes, hoovers and iron, you know, everything that you needed. We had a list then that we ticked off and made sure that everything was in that particular house. It was really, really interesting. So it was very, very busy, and I was in the great position where I had such great girls working for me that I could take time off and go on holiday and things like that. And oh, it was it was really busy. My husband used to do all the fit outs. We had a huge van, and he had a few guys working with him as well, just guys that we used to get in to help out. Yeah, it was a really busy time. And I expected that time to last. So I remember going to New York, and I just spent my credit card. It was just like, it didn't really matter. Whatever I wanted to buy, I could buy, and the credit card was flashed here, there, and everywhere. And we came home with a couple of suitcases of clothes and all the rest. And yeah, we had lovely holidays. We had a lovely car. We built this beautiful house. And yeah, it was great. And then about a year later, it just went boom. Like the Celtic Tiger left the country, and just I had to let all my girls go. Like it was just like somebody turned off the lights in the town and in the country, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, what happened there? I was busy last week. What happened this week? And it literally was like that. It was like it went from really busy to nothing. Now, again, I was very lucky that we worked with really good contractors. We were never owed a penny, so we were very lucky in that. In all the work we did, we were paid for. So we didn't end up with like a big debt owed to us by anybody. No, it was great like that. Had to let all my girls go. Had to condense my shop down to much smaller. I was lucky if I had somebody come in like a couple of days a week, as in customers. Some days I'd go to my shop and nobody would even come in the door. It was just depressing. In that space of time, then my marriage broke up. I can't say it was either of our fault. It was definitely a combination of both of us. But yeah, definitely the whole closing down of business was difficult to have a marriage through. It was impossible. So my husband left. He left the country. He left me with the kids here. He left us in this house that I could barely pay for, and I just kind of hold on to it. That's about it. I barely hold on to it. So then I had to eventually close my shop, even though I did absolutely everything to keep my shop going. I took in repairs, I took in alterations, I closed it for a couple of days a week, and I went working for a lady who had a wedding dress shop. I did all her alterations. I brought them home and did them at home, because I was very aware at the time that my children had lost their grandparents. We have a very small family, so their grandparents had died, their father had left, and I was working even more than I ever did. So I had run sewing classes out of my shop as well. So basically I worked during the day in the shop, hoping to get an order for curtains, and then stayed on after 6 o'clock to run sewing classes. So they basically stayed with their with my ex-husband's mother and father, who were amazing to us at the time. So what I ended up doing was closing the shop for a couple of days and just working from home, so that at least the kids could have a parent at home. It was just diabolical. Eventually then closed the shop. I had to close the shop. I had no choice. Couldn't even afford to put petrol into the car to go to work some days. It was so bad. And I ended up having to go on like a government social welfare payment, which was, I will admit, the lowest part of my life. That was horrific, having to basically sell your soul to go on a social welfare payment. And in this country, you have to prove that you've nothing to come in. You have to just be at the point of breakdown, and then you have to wait for 6 months before you get paid. So those 6 months, my brother just kept us going, and a little bit of sewing from home kept us going. And in the meantime, our heating had broken down, so we were also in a freezing cold house. So it was, not gonna lie, horrendous, but we kept it together. And yeah, we got through it. It took a couple of years. It was horrendous. So we went from this lovely high of a credit card in New York to buying a heater in Aldi to keep us warm in the kitchen. It was just, so from that experience, I never want to get back to that again. Like, never. I never want to be, I can't think of the word for it. I don't want to be at the point where I think this is going to last forever. So my business is really busy at the moment, and I put my heart and soul into it, like I've done in every other business. But I don't want to think that it's always going to be like this. I don't want to get to the point where I think it's always going to be this good. I'm always going to be able to pay my bills, keep my house warm, feed my animals. Yeah, I don't, so I just work really hard. That's why I work hard. I always worked hard, but I don't want to feel that it's always going to be. I wish I could think of the word. I'm going to think of it after. Please tell me the word I'm trying to think of. As I say, I'm no good with words. But yeah, I didn't expect to tell you all that this morning, but, and it all started from a Tommy Hilfiger sweatshirt, but that's kind of the way I run. But yeah, I'm going to drink my coffee now and I'm going to start my day. I have Eileen coming in today. Eileen is a girl who's doing work experience with me. She's doing a fashion course and she has to do 10 days of work experience. So today is day 9. She is going to measure out all the remnants today and I am going to put them up then on the website when I get chance. I have lots to do today, but then what's new? It's freezing cold. There's a lovely sky out. Everything is covered in like grey. It's just so pretty looking. And this might be all that you see of me today because I may upload this later, a few things on this evening as well, so I may not get to talk to you again. But anyway, that was 15 minutes of my waffle anyway, so I think that was enough for today. I have to apologise again for my boring days. There's nothing going on. Bye.